Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to do this animation. This tutorial is split into two videos. If you know about After Effects and you know what you're doing, then you're in the right place. However, if you are new to After Effects and you want to learn how to actually achieve this effect, then click the first video in the description below, and it'll also be at the end of this video, which is a longer video explaining exactly how to achieve this effect. But if you want to know how to just do it, then let's get going. Create a project and a new composition. In this case, I made it 3840 by 2160, 30 frames a second and 3 seconds long with a white background. Once open, create another new composition. This is going to be your logo layer. Keeping the same aspect ratio, select a smaller composition size. In this case, I selected 600 pixels by 338. Drag in an image you want to trace over to use as a guide and resize the image, making sure you leave a gap all the way around the edge. You don't need the image, it just helps with size and alignment. You can also use your own design or image here. Using the pen tool, draw a line overlapping your image template and set the fill to 0% opacity and the line colour to whatever colour that you want. In this case, I use the colour picker tool to select the same colour as what's on the image that we're tracing over. Adjust the stroke width until you're happy. In this case, I made the image underneath at 50% opacity to check that I had the correct width of this line. You can fine-tune the position of the line by dragging the points that you've just made along the line. Once done, change the line cap and the line join both to round. Repeat this for the other side. Once happy, delete the image underneath, and you're left with two lines that we can now animate. As mentioned, you don't need an image to get to this point. You can create whatever shape pattern that you want to use using the same techniques. We will now animate the line. Under the shape layer options, select a shape and click add and then trim path. From here, play with the start and end values to see which way round you want your animation to work. In this case, I want the animation to go from the edges to the center, so I adjusted the end value by adding a keyframe so that the value starts at 0% and finishes at 100%. That animates the line in. Then to animate the line out, we will adjust the start value to do the same thing by adding in keyframes at 0% when I want the animation to start and 100% when I want the animation to end. Note that I'm leaving a few frames either side of the animation so that it'll loop a lot better. We then need to repeat the same but on the other side. In this case, the values will often be reversed, but to figure that all out, all you need to do is adjust the values to see what's changing and then add keyframes until you're happy. Make sure to use the other keyframes as guides to position where you need the new ones. The animation's looking good. The last thing that we need to do is highlight all of the keyframes, then right click on Keyframe Assistant and then select Easy Ease. This ramps up and down the animations to make it look a lot more professional. So that's the logo done. Head back to the main composition and drag the logo composition onto the timeline. As you can see, it's now a small logo. Now we need to repeat this pattern. In the effects panel, search for motion tile, drag that on top of the composition and expand the height and width of the effect to tile the animation. Adjust the scale and rotation to make it suit. In this case, I rotated the shape so that the diagonal lines of M and W appear horizontal. Next, create a new composition for the main logo that will appear. Within this composition, remove the background by clicking this button, then create a perfect circle by using the ellipse tool and holding shift to get the perfect circle. Centralize the circle, then put in your own design in the center. In this case, I'm using my logo. Head back to the main composition and then import the main logo composition in. Looking good. Finally, we can add an animation to this logo, and also we want to add a shadow to make it look 3D. Search for shadow in the effects column and select the glow and shadow effect, and drag that onto the main logo. Set the drop shadow halo 2 to 0% opacity, as we don't need that second shadow. Then you can change the angle, color, distance and softness of the shadow until you find something that you like. Okay, now we'll keyframe the scale and the opacity of the logo similar to what we did before until we find something that we like. To add the bounce effect, add an additional keyframe with a higher value a few frames before the final resting position of the logo. Once complete, highlight all of the keyframes, right-click, Keyframe Assistant, and then select Easy Ease, again to add a fluid transition between keyframes. Once complete, highlight all of the keyframes, press Command or Control-C to copy all keyframes, move the play header further along the timeline, and then press Command or Control-V to paste the same keyframes. Once pasted and highlighted, right-click all of the keyframes and select Keyframe Assistant, then Time Reverse Keyframes. This creates a mirror effect for all of the ramp up keyframes and makes it really easy to repeat the same for the ramp down of the logo. Fine tune these new keyframes until you find something that you like, and that's it. One last thing is to add a white background by using the rectangle tool to draw a rectangle larger than the visible frame, and then drag that layer below the rest so it sits in the background. You can then toggle the eye icon to toggle the background on and off, which makes exporting a transparent and white version of this logo really easy. To export the background version, first make sure that the background is made visible, and then click File, Export, and Add to Media Encoder queue. This will open Media Encoder. Click the drop down on the preset and select High Quality 4K, and then click Maximum Render Quality. This will produce the best quality for the animation. To make a transparent background, first make sure the background is not visible, then click File, Export, Add to Media Encoder queue, and click here to select the file type as QuickTime. Then select the preset, GoPro Cineform with Alpha. Double check that the Alpha option is selected, and then click Maximum Render Quality and Export. And there we have it, 2 fully animated intros ready for your videos. So yeah, that was the tutorial. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, please feel free to buy me a coffee. It's the first link in the description below. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.